All right, I've got it zoomed in. We got it lined up. All right, so I have to turn them on from the bottom up.
In numerical order.
In numerical order. Hey, you named the layers.
We did. I told you we learned a lot.
Oh, look at it. It's Mariotti Lydia's master layers.
Okay, what?
One black and white PSDC file. Okay,
We
here
made
we
some
go.
mistakes.
All right, so we've got, this is our diagram of a 1-point perspective. Layer 1. And we cancel. Hang on, so let's look at what's
Only the red files are like what we
reaction
did.
at all.
Yeah, we could only get so far because you came back.
I like these. Ooh, ooh, I like, hang on. This is really cool how there's,
Can you move
This
it
one
now?
goes-
This
No,
one.
no, 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 this is okay.
I'm digging this. All right, so tell me what you guys learned about this.
I learned that I didn't know that we could all just share with each other and then edit the same document.
So did you guys share through the cloud? Or?
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
so it gets shared with all of us
That's,
and then
that is
we all
new
got on.
functionality for this year, actually. It's brand new functionality,
We
so
also
I'm glad you guys leaned
we
into
were
it.
a little bit frustrated that only one of us could be in it at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
right.
then we were all
right.
like yelling like, "Are you
Yeah,
in?"
exactly.
Yeah.
Who's in?
Someone's in!
So this is why,
Why are you taking so long?
this is why it's really important that you name your layers and name your files, because what you can do is you can create duplicates of the file, then you can create additional layers, and you can bring those layers back into the master document, right? And that way, so that way you can collaborate on the file, but basically you're working in two versions and then you glue them back together, which can be really valuable. All right, so tell me about the Frankenstein drawing. Who has a layer in the Frankenstein drawing?
All of us.
Oh,
Yeah.
Except for Chase, because his one.
Mine wouldn't load in.
And Wendy's is somewhere
And
in there.
mine,
We
like,
just can't find it.
vanished. I don't know.
Okay, cool. Well, all right. So the next assignment basically is to take this process and to try to augment it into something that. So the areas of crochet are going to be a little bit harder to kind of have a digital fabrication tool do, but things that are lines are a lot easier to have a digital fabrication tool do. So our homework moving forward is always going to be 1/2 analog and 1/2 digital. So what I want you guys to do digitally, right, is to go into this. Does everybody now have a copy of this?
They should, yeah.
Okay. So what I would like for you guys
Wait,
to
a copy
do.
of it or just it?
They just have it in there.
Yeah.
We all have it.
So what I would like for you guys to do is to take it and start to make it your own by snagging other people's stuff. I was sending you guys messages in the group meeting, right? And the best thing to do is not just to borrow from other people, but sample from other people and kind of work it in, like you would do with a cool piece of jazz or like, you know, a good beat in hip hop. All right, is to like kind of bring it in and then be like, right, here's Jillian's piece featuring Adela. Okay. Now you could choose to collaborate on it by borrowing Adela's stuff and just referencing her, or you could even choose to borrow it and like feature her and have her do like you could adjust some of your things on your own. It's just working with JJ. She has this layer that's really cool. It's got this cool kind of like purple red texture, purple red blue texture at the top. At the bottom, the blue was misbehaving, so we actually cut it out and put it back in as two different layers. And I think it makes it even more interesting. You could kind of, not only could you bring those two layers into, say, like Adela's piece, you could put one up towards the front and the other one towards the back and have other things happening in between. Something that you guys did, I don't know whether this is on purpose, but these arrows, when you cut them out, you left the white pixels. So it's not just always the black pixels, you actually left some of the poché in. I think that's really cool. I think that's actually really valuable. This layer right here, which number is that?
Like,
Yep, that one. See, like, and now, like, you can even mess around with the opacity a little bit. Do you guys see how we're starting to see some depth in there? That is really cool. Now, so for part of the homework is to do your own digital Frankenstein. And you can start with this as the like proto-DNA, or you can start with the layers that are shared on the Miro and make your own, okay? We're gonna showcase those. We're gonna showcase those for homework. Now, here's the next thing to do. The other thing that doing this process maybe makes you realize is, I don't know, taking what you learned from here, how does this impact how you might draw by hand? Like, all right, so we've taken from hand to digital. Let's take it the other way. How could you use this to augment or explore or get some more freedom hand drawing? What do you guys think? You need to draw it darker. All right, so it's giving you feedback in terms of line widths. All right, so there's like immediate feedback, right, that you can get for yourself. What else? Drawing with a tool. I would say like it shows where like sometimes drawing with a tool is helpful. Also, on the computer, it's really easy to get super accurate lines, but I don't know. There's a like look at this like you guys see how like this is crocheted in, but like it's got some like grittiness to it. It has like a texture to it. It's really funny that like tools like Procreate and filters and Adobe Photoshop are only just now starting to come to like drawing with textures, and they're still clunky, and I think they always will be, but you can get these cool textures so much easier by hand. Like it makes those textures even more special, whether you're drawing with like charcoal or watercolor or just like smudging with your pencil, or even if you just like built up a lot of lead on the back of your hand and it kind of smudges on your drawing. If you don't like it, you can take it off. But if you do like it, you can actually use it. I was just showing JJ how like you can take a smudge out of a place in the drawing where you don't like it, and you can use it for shading in another part of the drawing. So like you can literally salvage something from somewhere where you like it. We already did this with lines. Like you take a line that you like, you can use it and like copy it other places, and it still feels like that hand-drawn line, but it's with the accuracy of the computer. What else? What else might you do? Jillian, how would you draw differently by hand now, knowing that you have this ability to kind of clean it up afterwards?
When I do line weights, I would focus more on actually like going over the line.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I'd take more time, like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when you do like the second.
Well, because it gives you this kind of like, it gives you depth in the drawing.
Yeah.
A lot of CAD drawings, you guys have all done CAD drawings, right? I think most of you have done some kind of a computer drawing. That line, you set the line weight, and then it just is.
Yeah.
So it kind of reads flat. It doesn't have you can't feel the pressure or the fact that it's been gone over multiple times. And if you want to emulate that digitally, you have to work really hard to do it. What else? Anybody think they might doodle more freely? Carly?
This one, like, it'll make you not erase more, because then, like, you know, if you don't want it later on, you can just get rid of it later on.
Right? Like you don't have to worry about it right now, right? You can just focus on the work.
Freedom.
Yeah. So you can kind of stay in the zone. You don't have to worry, am I doing this right or not?
Yeah.
Dude, do you know how liberating that is?
Yeah.
Right? Like you don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. Do you guys think, all right, can you guys see, there's even on here, there's a couple lines where it's just like, I don't know. I also think it makes you slow down just a half step. Just slow down just a half step and be like, okay, if I just draw this a little bit slower, right? If it's not a lot slower, just slow down just a half step. So instead of like, gah, just be like, gah. You know you can clean it up later. You know if you really don't like it, you can just turn it off. But it makes the cleanup digitally go faster. I think you guys all experience this, right? Like if you just take the photographs that we took at the beginning of the semester, can you guys appreciate that it would take like 5 times longer to clean up those photographs than to just take a nice photograph right now out in that space and then clean it up here? Who's tired of cleaning up stuff 15 times in Photoshop? I am. I know I sure am. Have you gotten faster at it though? You guys have actually, like, again, one of the points of this kind of entire exercise is to start off slow, but then today, you guys could appreciate all of the shortcuts, so you use the shortcuts. So it went You guys realize that like you did the amount of work that it took us 3 classes to do in an hour, this class? I don't know whether you guys fully realize that. Now, I could have tried to teach you these shortcuts 2 weeks ago. You wouldn't have understood them, right? But now you appreciate them, and so you can do it. Okay, JJ, you said you were a little frustrated adding color. Here, let me show you really quickly the way that I like to add color. It's actually not with the paintbrush tool. I'm gonna do it this way. Guys, give me something that is a colorful texture or something. Here we go. It's, you know what? It's Thanksgiving, cranberry sauce. Done. Okay, we're gonna do ourselves a favor. We're gonna make sure that the file, you guys know this, right? You can go into tools, size, large, usage rights, Creative Commons license. That way it doesn't have like Pinterest, you know, watermarks all over it. Okay, cranberry sauce. That's gross. That one might be okay. Open link in new window, in new tab. That one's gross. Ooh, I like that one. And I like that one. Okay. Oh, I like that one a lot. Alright, open image in new tab. Okay, when I'm looking for images on the internet, you can spend a lot of time shopping. You can also get too hopeful for an image. So what I always do is I always pick multiple ones, and I try to keep my mouse moving. The same way when you're sketching, you try to keep your pencil moving a little bit. Alright, so I'm gonna save all 3 of these. Save image as cranberry sauce number 1. I'm just gonna save it to the desktop. Trigger warning, this will make your desktop messy. Alright, so I've got those saved. I go into Photoshop. I'm just gonna open all 3 to kind of see what it is that we're dealing with
I
here.
found Wendy's layer.
What?
I found Wendy's layer.
You found Wendy's layer?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna zoom in. Ooh, I kinda like this sheen right here. So I'm gonna grab this piece here. Control copy. Now check this out. Control copy, and then we go over to here. I'm gonna paste it in. Do a little editing. Edit, image, adjust. Let's make it a little bit more saturated. A little bit more. There we go. All right, now we're in the mood for cranberry sauce. Ooh, all right, you guys are ready for this now. We're gonna do a little perspective work. Yoink. Here. All right. Now. All right, so check this out. What we're gonna do to add color is I'm literally gonna trace over the drawing like this. So we're gonna grab this arrow, and this is how I like to add color to drawings, is by stealing it from another material. Alright, so we've got that there. I can start adding it that way, and I can mess around with like where it's gonna be. Now, if I do this too many times, it's just gonna get really noisy and confusing. But if I keep going at it, I can start to add color, or even color and texture, especially for my interior design students, adding color and texture, especially for my industrial design students, adding color and texture. You can take existing colors and textures, and if you kind of zoom in on them, like the cranberry sauce, you start to not, you guys see how it's not cranberry sauce anymore? Right? So as long as you present it out of context, you can just use it for purely what it is. Or if you present it in context, you can add it as an applied material. The one that students do all the time is brick texture, but they put it on way too big. But you can use texture and color and start to add it in the same way that you're doing the drawings. And you get these images where, like, let's just look at how it, you guys see how that arrow reads with more oomph? By just starting to add a little color? Now JJ, you said it's frustrating to do it with the paintbrush. Because when it goes on with the paintbrush, it's flat, and it's kind of plastic, and it's frustrating. Like, you're there with the mouse, like going like this forever, right? Getting a hand cramp. This way is a lot easier, and it uses the same exact tools that you just used to bring this over. If you just wanted to grab some of the red, check this out. Let's go back to this other cranberry layer over here. Not that one, that looks gross. On the big screen. Nope. Alright, this one. Okay, check this out. We can go to, where's our magic wand at? Magic wand. Alright, now check this out. This is my final lesson. Let's make those really red. Check this out. Color range. Increase the fuzziness. This may or may not work, I don't know. But, so you see, we can start to add, I was hoping it would work better. But you can start to add color and texture using stuff if you wanted to. We can kind of like cut stuff out of it and put stuff into it. That's not the person I thought it was, so they just don't have no idea why I waved to them.
I love when that happens.
Doing it tastefully though makes a big difference. Like, you use colors that go together. There's a lot of pre-existing like swatches and color palettes that you can use. So for homework, part one, digitally, is to make your own Frankenstein using the tools that we did today. Now, I need you guys to reach out to Liv and Sam and Moo and make sure that they have an appreciation and understanding of what this is. Okay? That's part number one. Part number two is that what I would like to do is to start to build our own drawing of this. So you need to take what you're doing here, and I want you to go back to your sketchbook. So, right, we're taking the analog and moving digitally. We're always moving digitally back to analog. We do the same two things at the same time. They're not separated from each other. We don't just work digitally. We don't just work by hand. You always have to work with both. If you only exercise one set of muscles, right, and you skip leg day, we all know that ends up bad, all right? So even though you might not be a fan of leg day, it's important to do both, okay? So what I want you to do is, while you're doing the Frankenstein, I want you to be drawing your own. I'm going to suggest doing it in your sketchbook. You can cut out little pieces of trace paper to fold into your sketchbook. Okay? Now, if you can do that, and you can upload it to Miro, I won't cancel class on Tuesday, but we can have a reduced class online.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Monday.
Okay? So if you get this stuff uploaded to Miro by, you know, like, let's say like Monday night, maybe like 10 or 11 p.m. so that it's up there and I can check it out. We can talk about it. We can have one of those, hopefully my neighbor's house will not catch on fire. And we can have a robust conversation about it, okay? I'm gonna tell you right now, your homework over Thanksgiving break is not that hard. All it is to take all of the imagery of everything that we've created and go back into the Miro and organize it coherently. All right? Organize it coherently so that you can kind of tell the story of where you've come this semester. Look how much work you guys have done, right? So I want to be able to share this with other people. So and most of all, I want you to be able to share it with other people. Remember, the key for this last part of the semester is drawings that are beautiful and communicate. These drawings are already beautiful. We need to organize them so that they communicate. So that somebody can kind of walk down through the column and be like, oh, this is where Chase started out, and this is where Chase ended up, all right? You don't actually have to do a lot of writing to do that. You just need a couple of labels. I don't know, maybe like a brief description that's in the file name. Circle of life, okay? Any questions on that kind of stuff?
So we're making our own Frankenstein with the tools we used today.
Digitally, add some color.
So
Make
what
your
did
own
you have
Frankenstein.
for sketchbook?
What are you drawing in your sketchbook? Well, do you see how some of these lines are a little bit, I don't know, I'll call them messy. They're made by a younger, less rigorous, less educated you.
Yeah. Just
Congratulations, we've arrived at the point in the semester where you have the applicable skill set that we talked about hoping to develop in September. You now have that skill set. If I had to draw this drawing again, I would draw it better, right? I would draw the arrows cleaner. You would draw the line weights better. You would draw more freely with less fear about messing stuff up. You would be a little bit more critical about it. You might be able to draw separately the parts that you wanted to bring in. I like this arrow. I want more arrows. I like this. I want more of them. I would draw those parts. See, the nice thing about drawing the Frankenstein drawing, you can grab pieces from other people. But the other thing about Frankenstein is you can bolt on new pieces. So drawing this, if you just stay digital, it'll soak up. The one danger about Photoshop is it'll suck up a lot of your time. Right? You guys ever be working on the computer and you're like, I can't believe I just spent 2 hours on that. When you're working by hand, it's much easier to be aware of time passing. So I recommend, you know, even if you need to, set a timer for yourself, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, or 7 minutes, 7 minutes. Anybody know the Pomodoro method? Some people find that really helpful, where it's like you set a timer for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. There's lots of different methods, whatever works best for you. My favorite mode recently is that I've been watching episodes of Parks and Rec, and I'll work digitally for one episode, and then I'll switch to hand for another episode, and I'll basically do, you know, because those episodes are like 18, 20 minutes long, so I'll just do like 4 of those, and I have them on in the background. All right, that's the homework for Tuesday. If that stuff is done by Monday night, then we can have a online class where we're texting and looking at the Miro and sharing some screen grabs. I like that because you guys tend to actually talk more on that way. Well, and some of the things are really, really thoughtful. I mean, they're really kind of beautiful. And I think that text immediately folds back into your portfolio. So if you do that for Monday night, we'll confirm on Monday night that we can go online for Tuesday. And then while you're away over Thanksgiving, and the reason why the assignment is this way is because you choose when the time works for you. When you guys go away for Thanksgiving, I want you to rest, regenerate, take care of yourself, not get too close to your cousins that are dripping snot. But I don't want you to just lose momentum, right? So continuing with momentum, once you get the boulder moving, you don't have to use as much effort to keep pushing it. But if you stop pushing it, it slows down. So all you need to do is just kind of like keep it going, okay? And that's what I want you guys to do over Thanksgiving break, which is go back through your Miro, organize it being the person that you are now, so you understand it. 5 minutes over, I'm gonna stop it right there. I'll hang out if you have more questions, but that's it. Cool stuff? Hope to not see you on Tuesday.
We'll see you after Thanksgiving.
All right. Oh, where do I need to save this file so that you guys can access it?
I think we can.
Yeah, we all have a copy of it, so.
Even if I save it right now?
Yeah, just hit save.
Oh my god. Okay. If you say so, guys. I'm really scared.
I mean, that's how we've been doing it all class.